number plate syndicate, National Transport and Safety Authority. Of course, the arrest of 19 people yesterday, one of them by the name of Sembi, arraigned, and now will be behind bars for at least 30 days as police continue with the investigations. On page 2 of the Daily Nation, you'll see that how crooks at NTSA clone car number plates, and I'm interested by this fact that the flying squad had revealed that the number plate of the Toyota Ractis KCN 340E, believed to have been used by the attackers at the 14 Riverside Drive, was not a fake, but a duplicate of an existing one. Another car of the same make and similar description was impounded on January 16th in Kitengela, Kajiado County, and it had the original number plate. I'm just wondering how crooked can we get to the extent that we are issuing duplicate number plates, actually, which are, on the face of it, authentic. What could go so wrong?
What we are witnessing is the evidence of the fact that corruption has now permeated all the levels, all the sectors of our society. And I know I am making it very difficult for the head of state, but to fight corruption, it must start from the head of the state. It's doable. All countries where corruption has been fixed, it started with the head of state. Yes, President Uhuru has been making the right pronouncements. Yes, he's been faced with challenges up to and including a judiciary that has not been fast enough in playing its role. But Kenyans still expect that he will also fix the judiciary in ensuring that they live up to their responsibility in terms of what they're expected to perform in the fight against corruption.
Right.
The buck stops with the president. Yeah.
And I'm saying that there's a gentleman here by the name Miego who is being cited saying that if vehicles were fitted with electronic number plates, as has been proposed before, the cases might decrease. We'll be able to tell the location of a specific vehicle. I'm just wondering, we seem, as a country, we appear to be moving towards technology. Every challenge that we have, we move it to technology. If it's about distribution of resources in schools, we go to NEMIS. If it's about tracking or tracing terror, we now want to do NIIMS, National Identification Information Management System. Now we are talking about number plates and how they need to be online. What do we need to do before going to this software of technology? What do we need to do to the software of the people managing these institutions?
Yes, and that's, I support what Senator Lwale is saying, that the institutions that have been charged with responsibilities of taking care of different aspects of our lives as Kenyans have actually failed us. And as much as we talk about corruption, if we don't rein in the people or employees of these institutions, then we will not go far. Today it's NTSA. The last time we were busy discussing NEMA and WARMA, where they were giving, corruptly and fraudulently giving go-aheads and letters of authority for people to build on riparian land. Now we see what's happening in NTSA. So as much as we are talking about dealing with corruption at the level that we are doing it now, we must ensure that our institutions or people charged with responsibility within those institutions actually do their work. And if they do not, they must just be punished, and punished heavily, so that it becomes like a deterrent for anybody who thinks that they can put the lives of Kenyans at a risk by getting a little money just to do what they've done. Because first of all, when you clone car number plates, you're putting the original owner of that number plate at a risk. Right. Because obviously it's going to be picked up, and yet he might not know anything about it. But then, what is it, or how much can you get that you'd put your country and fellow countrymen at a risk by doing what has been done here? So I think that the president can focus on on corruption as he's focusing now, but at the same time, we must rein in these institutions and just ensure that the people who are charged with responsibility or given authority act accordingly. Otherwise, we will not get too far.
Right, and I don't know whether Senator Ombatangi, you've seen the story in the lower part of page 2 of the Daily Nation, talking about that the police raid at the Transport Authority may have come too late. They are talking of, at one time, they visited at the point where Accra Road makes a T-junction with a Shell petrol station on the right, and various second-hand clothes sellers lined up on the left. A dusty path further down, is lined up with shops selling motor vehicle spare parts and makes the number plate factory. So, understandably, these are things that are processed along the River Road or that area. And they are saying that when they inquired, they wanted to buy a duplicate or a fake number plate. They were told that you'll have to tell us exactly what you want the number plate for before we tell you the cost. So this is something that is going on.
And do you see this guy who went he was driving into a hospital in Nairobi, and he's seeing a car in front of him with a number plate exactly like his car.
Why does it take so long to stem such kind of crime?
You see some, maybe we would begin by owning up what is the reality right now on ground. And the reason why you have this story is because there was a terror attack.
Right.
And the number plates had to be, these people had to be tracked down. Then the reality that we are living with right now is that the number of vehicles that are driving around the country with similar number plates is enormous. It's big. The question is, do we have to wait until there's an attack or until there's a tragedy to go tracking them? And if that would be the way we would follow, you can never resolve this issue. Secondly, is it unknown? Would one argue logically that it is unknown, for example, to our investigators, to the police, to our intelligence, that such people do exist who make number plates either in those danger places or even the open border, whereby, for example, if now you go to the road and look at the number plates on people's vehicles, you find that you can go to Tanzania now and go and order for number plates for your vehicle, and there is no law that will bar you from coming and changing the one you're given because of the format or whatever and come and pin it. That's what happens. Actually, if you look at most fancy vehicles, people go to Tanzania because they make their number plates in a different style and get them from there. And nobody will ask you, let's see, identification or this. You just come and pin it. Secondly, and that is probably what would be asking ourselves on this question that you asked about moving our solutions to technology. We can't run away from that, whether we like it or not. You know, sharing and having data consolidated in one port whereby you can be able to access that information when you want to find it and at the right time. You see, sometimes I get concerned when I'm driving on a road and you find a whole contingent of policemen on a road and stopping so many vehicles, and the only thing that they do is they walk to the windshield and look whether the insurance cover is valid. That's all they look at. Now that we no longer have the road licenses that used to be there, you'd be told it's expired. And once if your license is with you, if your insurance is valid, then move on. Now imagine if we had a scenario whereby that police officer is armed with data in a portal on a gadget. When you stop, at least he can be able to key in your number plate. And as you stop, he's able to see that this is Wamatangi and this is his vehicle. It is white. It is this model, registered this time and so on. And even as he comes to look at these other things, he has background information. And they would run those kind of checks and tests continuously. And I believe it would help us manage a lot of problems. See, if you look at what's happened, for example, like driving licenses, NTSA did announce that they have come up now with that electronic wallet driving license, whereby they can store your information, give you credit for driving well, take off points when you've caused accidents, and so on. And now if you look at what is happening, especially within the PSV sector, people are concerned. They're starting to talk and say, if you're a matatu driver and they have now issued these electronic driving licenses, you have to be careful, because once you're caught, they will knock off points from your driving license credit. And eventually you can be barred from driving. And so it has a way of bringing in some discipline. And so I would want to take the opportunity to actually urge the ministry itself, and especially the department, NTSA itself, that they have to do more. Nowadays, you can very easily go and transfer my car to yourself. I mean, if you just go to River Road, go get a logbook, and you go there and connive with a few people, and I'm saying that clear in my mind that a Kenyan approached me a few days or 2 days ago and says, he's a foreigner. He says, how can you assist me? Because this is my car, I bought it, these are my documents, you can see them, and then I've just been called because I went to KRA to try and transfer my vehicle. It has already been transferred to somebody else, you know. And so it is, I'm driving it, I have the car, this is the logbook.
The transfer is online and you have to manage that team's
well, that's what I'm saying, but it's through collusion. That's what we're saying. So you know, there has to be more seriousness, there has to be, I think, more vigilance, and absolutely, we have to make sure that those who are caught face the music.
And I want to...
Can I just support what Senator Wamatangi is saying? Senators, I support you. Again, we should not expect so much from the police.
Yeah.
I mean, if the policeman at a checkpoint is expected to do all those things you were saying, to ensure that the vehicle's registration and its color and chassis number is right, he's supposed to know whether the driver is having a driving license and if he's qualified, if he's not drunk.
Yes.
He is supposed to know whether he's not carrying terrorists. He's supposed to know whether he is not having dangerous weapons in the boot and so on. I mean, the checkpoint, the policeman will be overwhelmed. So much as you are speaking to the right thing, the bottom line should be that at specific points when the proper decisions are supposed to be taken, integrity should be exercised. I.e., instead of the policeman being expected at the roadblock to check on matters of registration of the vehicle, the point at which registration is done, the process should be impeccable to the extent that no mistake is done there. So that the work of the policeman is to come and check that when this person was driving was actually he had belted. We want our policeman to do such a simple things like checking the belt and so on, but not to do the work of a detective and whatever.
Just a quick one. What I was saying, Senator, is this: if you look, and you know, we don't reinvent the wheel, but we also learn from best practices. If you look at some of the advanced countries, when they flag you down, by the time you slow down, the policeman in the patrol vehicle has already keyed in your plate inside the vehicle. So as you're stopping, they have already read your data, and he's stepping out to meet somebody he knows. So he has already seen that the guy who is slowing down there is called Senator Halwale, and he's driving a blue vehicle, registered this time in an area there, of course, like where they register in areas, you know, blah blah and all those. At least he's coming with some information, and that information is relevant to especially some of the key things like your security of the nation, and of course, you know, safety in driving, like validity of your documentation, at least. So what is saying, if that data can be consolidated, and it is not difficult, Senator, I mean, imagine what now you're able to do with your phone, just your phone, all the information that you have.
And I want to
and so we should be able to take some steps that can be able to make it better.